Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues,
we want to have a look at your, generally this is what we want to do. We're looking at the projects, capital votes for 3 years running. Since we are considering MTF for 3 years going forward, we want to look at our actual performances for the last 3 years. We want to see if you don't have the submission of your capital for those 3 years, then you have to get it back to us. We want to see the line item by line item to be sure that there are no more, you can't stand there, Oga. You cannot. Thank you, sir. So that then we look at the revenue also and see how you performed in the last 3 years and how you are going to perform in the next 3 years, till all things being equal. So let's start from you.
Honorable Obiodun James Baleke, other honorable members,
Mark,
other honorable members of this committee, chief executive officers here present, including the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I would like to appreciate this invitation and assure that we have come fully prepared. And I would like, with the permission of the chairman of this committee, to invite the Director of Financial Services of the Nigerian Communications Commission. Since no provision has been given for introductions, I would have introduced members of my team. But as it is...
Sorry, we don't have your documents.
Sorry?
Your submission, please.
Right. So please, Director of Financial Services, go ahead. Thank you.
The submission... No, have you made the submission?
What? We were not told to bring when we called the clerk.
Oga.
Our understanding was that...
Does he tell you to bring submission that you are going to give us? You are going to read to us?
But we have copies of the MTF here that we can present. We can give you a copy of the MTF here, sir.
You have enough copies?
We have the MTF from budget.
You have enough copies?
The MTF, sir.
We have it from budget office.
Yes,
we want the submission of your agency. How did you arrive at that submission, that MTF?
The MTF we produced and sent to the budget office. We assume that you already have a copy, and that's what we came with.
We have the summary. Your personnel, your overhead.
Yes, it's here. And it's the same with what budget office had submitted to the House, sir. You know, the letter that the House sent to us said we should contact the clerk.
Okay, is this your first time of coming to MTF here?
It's not, sir. The impression we got from the clerk is that we are coming to discuss what the budget office had submitted to the House, sir, which is based on what we actually also submitted to the budget office.
NCC, Chairman, is he
Chairman, sir.
Executive Vice Chairman? The issue is this: if you are reading your proposal that we cannot follow you, how do we relate? How do we chat?
Can we then be excused so that we submit the documents?
we stop it down for 1 hour. Is it okay with you?
Can you make it in 1 hour, 2 hours?
Yes, we can. Just to print, photocopy the document.
You also print it out. You want to take a day tomorrow?
I think tomorrow will be in order.
Tomorrow is okay with you?
Yeah, I don't want to rush this, but I want to discuss something with the chairman, please. Not a personal issue.
Yeah. Our colleagues, can we, this is a very straightforward issue, but just that normally all agencies must submit documents to us. We look at it and we follow you. Clerk, I hold you responsible for all these lapses that we have seen. This issue started 2 days ago, and you ought to have corrected it before they come here. I hold you responsible. What do you want us to do?
Other agencies and representatives of other CEOs present here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to present the 2022 to 2024 medium-term expenditure framework, MTF, of the Federal Inland Revenue Service to the House Committee on Finance, National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Overview or review of the 2020 budget performance. FIRS in the year 2020 generated the sum of 4.950 trillion as against the budgeted total sum of 5.076 trillion, representing about 98% of the target. Out of the total collection of 4.950 trillion, non-oil and oil component contributed 3.4 trillion and 1.5 trillion respectively. Consequently, the cost of collection, which is 4% or 2% of Nigeria custom VAT of 130 trillion, was achieved against the budget of 180 billion to fund the 3 operational expenditure heads for the Federal Inland Revenue Service. The service 2021 budget performance. The service 2020 approved MTF projected revenue collection was 6.4 trillion, representing 1.64 trillion, that is 26%, and 4.74 trillion, 74% of oil and non-oil respectively. The service at June 2021 achieved 2.762 trillion, representing 43% of the approved projected collection. The non-oil collection during the period was 2.1 trillion against 1.5 collected in the corresponding period, representing 41.2% increase. While the oil revenue collected for the same period was 644 billion as against 971 billion collected in corresponding period, representing a 33.68% decrease in the oil collection. It is noteworthy to state that the implementation of the tax pro marks has started impacting positively on revenue collection. The distinguished members will recall that in the year 2020, you approved for us that we could deploy technology for purpose of tax administration. So what we have done using our own in-house developed tax solution. So what we have done, we've developed our tax administration solution, which is we call Tax Pro Max, and we haven't started using it for generating for tax administration in the month of June 2021 alone. We generated over 650 billion, which is the highest revenue realized in single month in recent time. Therefore, higher revenue collection is expected in the third quarter of the year due to the extension of submission of returns, which will significantly improve projected revenue performance. Overview of
the moment that we need to borrow and then make up for, the budgets. And, it's surprising that the one we gave you as a target, you find it difficult to achieve. The expectation from this side, from the National Assembly, is that you should even surpass your target, not even the one that we gave you. I believe that what we gave you was below our expectation here. So I want you to tell us what National Assembly can do, because we are looking at you achieving that target and surpass it, so that you can contribute towards the deficit that we are suffering right now as a country. Thank you very much.
Problem that we're facing since last year, and that is the issues of COVID. Between January and March last year, the entire economy of the world was still open. There was no lockdown, and we were collecting tax revenue in month in, month out in the normal for the usual calculations done by the oil and gas players. But from April, May 2020, the issues started degenerating to the extent that at a time in our life, the oil and gas sector players produced finished product and the off-takers were not there to buy them. The cost that most of them incurred, particularly the losses they incurred in the year 2020, are the things they are still adjusting for up to sometimes June this year. Because if you incur loss or you incur cost, you have to recoup it. It is the difference that you remit. In the oil and gas sector, the returns is not a thing that is done annually, but there are monthly projections that are done. So if you incur loss that has not been fully recouped, because that is the law until the PIB was recently passed, you have to recover those costs before you will now remit the difference. So that has been the impact that we are still having. Or else we are aware that the situation has improved, the prices have gone up, but the adjustment of the losses they incurred last year is the impact that we are still suffering in the year 2021. The issue of generating or surpassing our target is a possibility because we've gotten all the required support we needed from National Assembly. The first and the most notable of those support is granting us powers to automate our tax administration process. That process has begun. Developing technology is not a joke. We have invested heavily in doing it, and internationally and locally, the efficacy and efficiency of the solution has been tested to be good. So it is only in the month of June that we are now able to now start using that technology for the purpose of generating taxes. So we want to believe that if we are patient with the loss we are getting, the support we are getting from you, and with the technology, by the grace of God, by end of this year, we should be able to surpass that target, I can assure you. We expect that we have projected that between 2022, 2023, and 2024, we are going to generate petroleum profit tax now that we have PIB, total sums of 4.4 trillion, 6.2 trillion, and 5.6 trillion. And as far as non-oil taxes are concerned, we have projected that we are going to generate 5.7 trillion in the year 2022, 6.4 trillion in the year 2023, and 6.9 trillion in the year 2024. On value-added tax, we expect that we are going to generate 2.4, to be specific, 2.4 trillion in the year 2022, 2.6 trillion in the year 2023, and 2.9 trillion in the year 2024. The above projections were based on the following assumptions. Crude oil production to average about 1.9 billion barrels per day, million barrels per day for 2022, 2.1 million for 2023, and 2.29 million barrels per day for 2 years for 2024. This is based on the current production average of 1.9 million barrels per day and the projected end of COVID pandemic, which is expected to see a return of economic activities around the world. Crude oil is projected to average $56 per barrel for the next 3 years. Average exchange rate is projected at 410 naira per dollar for the next 3 years. Tax rate to remain the same for the period. Company income tax include target of 13.68% for Nigeria liquefied natural gas NLG for the period. Historical collection for the last 5 years was used to arrive at the forecast values for the period. Real gross domestic product growth rate is projected at 2.5% for 2022, 2023, and 2.9% for the year 2024. Consumption expenditure on which VAT is charged is assumed to average 10.5 trillion naira after adjusting for exemptions, zero-rated items, and companies whose threshold falls below 25 million naira turnover. Gross operating surplus of firms for which company income tax forecast was derived is assumed to average 8.4 trillion after adjusting for firms in the informal sector, enterprises, etc. Electronic money transfer levy was projected based on the volume of historical online transfer transactions published by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. In order to achieve the above projections, the service put in place strategies as follows. We have reorganized the service for optimal performance. Functions have been properly aligned with clear deliverables for efficiency and effectiveness. Drive the implementation of Finance Act 2019 and 2020 to optimize tax collection. Effective use of technology and tax intelligence, especially in large taxpayer offices, medium taxpayer offices, and government business taxpayer offices. We also have chosen to strengthen risk-based audit selection and early closure of unresolved audit and investigation cases. We enhance use of third-party information for intelligence gathering, strengthening monitoring and evaluation framework of all constituent functions and staff of the service, enhance stakeholders' collaborations and engagement to check leakages, evasion, and to enforce and improve compliance. Simplification of tax processes, filing or payment of CIT, VAT, and other taxes will be made easy through the full adoption of tax pro mark and the IT solutions being deployed by the service. Rollout of auto VAT collect to major supermarkets and other big outlets nationwide to improve VAT collection. The conduct of audit and reconciliation of all banks to ensure deduction and remittance of electronic money transfer levy, to sustain taxpayer education, engagement, enlightenment through televisions, radios, newspapers, workshops, as well as other outreach. Audit and investigation functions have been strengthened to check abuses and non-compliance, as well as to enforce compliance. Identify critical business areas where tax office will be opened for taxpayer convenience, which will improve compliance and revenue drive of the service. And finally, providing good working conditions to the staff with modern office accommodation, working tools, incentives to encourage them to perform optimally for increased revenue drive. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman and honorable members, on behalf of the Board of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, management and staff, I wish to appreciate your time for listening to our presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you, distinguished chairman. The total collection that we intend to remit to, we're trying to generate and remit to appropriate accounts, including Federation account, in 2022 is 10.1 trillion. However, for federal government, we are going to remit personal income tax of 113 billion, education tax of 305 billion, and NITDA of 21 billion. Then if you net off this from other taxes,
NITDA is not your money now.
No, that's what I'm saying. It is a federal government agency. We collect on behalf of federal government.
And you collect on behalf of NITDA.
Yeah.
So NITDA will report that.
Yes.
So that we don't duplicate. You know, you collect on behalf of NITDA.
Yeah.
So So when NIDA come here, they will then report their own revenue, which you are helping them to generate.
But for purpose of accounting, sir, if you have a debit, there must be credit somewhere.
It's your own cost of collection that matters to you here.
No, but
You
I
see,
cannot
because
collect.
if we take it from you that you are remitting 21, is it 21.9?
Yeah, billion. Yeah.
And then NIDA comes and says, okay, we are also repeating the same, which is duplication.
No, they will report this together with their other IGR, surely. They generate other IGR, yes. So out of the balance, about 15% is also due to the federal government, particularly from the value-added tax and other taxes that
No,
are
can you
listed.
give us in summary exactly how much is coming to federal government in summary?
Can you do it?
Because what you have here before is global to federation account, isn't it?
Do it
The 10.1 is federation.
10.1 is for
10.1.
is the global figure. So do quickly take it off for me. We should 305, 113, 21, and 210 less 104. Then the remaining one at 15%. Do quick. All this. Sorry. And consolidated account of 113. So what is 50% of the difference? Yeah, 15%. Then plus these three quick. 1, 2, 3.
Plus 305 from 306
Plus
113.2
plus
plus 21.22.
No.
then finish.
Let them separate it.
So
Federation and federal.
the total figure is 2,053 billion.
2
Trillion 053 billion. 2.053.
for federal government.
Yeah, for federal government. So the rest go to the state and local government. 9.something trillion added back these three. So that is why it gave us the 2.053 billion. 2,053 billion naira.
Now, you are reporting a 2.441 billion, is it trillion VAT? That is all things being equal if you win the case. Because the matter is in court, but just tentatively, you are reporting it in case FRA wins overall, isn't it? We want to assume that is the reason. Okay.
The standard geometric means of projection, except for petroleum profit tax, where you have 4 trillion in 2022, and then 6 in 2023, and then it declined in 2024. Then the second one is gas income. So the same thing, 2022, 618 billion is okay. 640 in 2023, then it declined in 2024. So those are the two line of incomes that I would like you to, throw more light. Why the decline?
1.9 million barrel per day for 2022. 2.1 million barrel for 2023 and 2.219 million barrel. These figures were taken from the National MTF, which is the budget office projection, and because we have to derive this assumption from their record. Crude oil prices project also to average about $56 per barrel for the 3-year period.
57.
It's 57. No problem. We'll look at it. For the
If you look at your parameters, the reasons for number one, crude oil, average 1.9 in 2022, 2.1 in 2023, and 2.29 in 2024.
yeah.
So, and if you look at your proposals, 2022 you have 4.4, and then you go to 2024 you have 5.6, while 2023 that had 2.1 had a higher expectation. So something's missing there.
I was to explain that, sir.
Okay.
So thank you for the corrections, particularly on the final figure that you agreed. But this was what was
the final figure that was presented.
and probably approved. The 56 was the first, was the initial projection given to us, and we are not aware that it has changed. We are sorry about that. Then when you come to the projection for 2022 and 2023 and 2024, we expect that with the new petroleum industry bill, there are reconciliations that are going to be carried out which will affect the collections in 2022. As we have it today, and as you all bear us witness, OPTS made serious case for recognition of some expenditures that they are going to roll over to the new regime. And what we're trying to do is to ensure that we adjust those expenses for the year 2022. And we know that if we do that, it was going to affect our ability to collect more revenue from them in that particular year. And in order for us to also address
Sorry, Chairman.
Yeah.
Are you saying that because of the signage of the PIB into law, some of the participants in that industry are already piling up costs?
It's not that they are piling up costs. They are currently on relief losses and other allowances that they have, they've not been able to use. Surely they will use it in that year because it's going to be a completely new regime. It's not going to be the one that have investment tax allowance anymore. It's going to be based on actual performance. But you are going to recognize whatever they have now as a cost before you arrive at the actual profit that they are going to generate for purpose of taxation. So what we have equally planned to do is that we are going to aggressively conduct audit and investigation in the year 2022. So we are projecting that by the grace of God in the year 2023, the result of those audits will manifest. Okay. And that is why we have projected 2023 to be 6.2 trillion.
Okay.
Yeah. Then, well, in 2022, which is next year, we expect that the tax payments for those liability that will be established for 2022 audit will be realized in the year 2023. And that is why the figure in 2023 has gone up. But when you have collected the taxes for audit and the ones that are remitted in the ordinary course of operations by the taxpayers, that is that the oil and gas industry player, you do not expect to generate the same level of income in the year that it is. So you are going to stabilize. And that is why we now have to discount the income by about $1 trillion naira for the year that will follow that year.
Okay, I have another question, sir.
Okay.
This has to do with your calculation of the federal government expectation.
Yes. The only thing that is not paid into federation account is the education tax, which is a special, which is given to a third fund as an intervention for purpose of fixing our education sector at secondary level. Then we have personal income tax, which is exclusively for government, that government collect from law enforcement agencies based in Abuja and Lagos and others. Then NITDA, which is the technology tax that we collect on behalf of NITDA for purpose of funding technology sector. So when you take these three from the total 10.4, you are going to have a figure of 9 trillion. You get it? So if you get a figure of 9 trillion, federal government share of that 9 trillion is 15%. So for you now to get the total for federal government, this 15% plus this 3 tax aid, that will now come to 2.053 trillion that we stated.
As at 2020, the FIRS has submitted its audited financial statement, and we computed a liability of 16 billion. That is from 2020, 16 billion 593 million 605,000 naira. However, the FIRS has paid a total of 27 billion naira 496 515. Though they've not submitted they've not availed us with their receipt for 2019 and 2020. That is payment into the CRF. They've not availed us with those information to enable us know how much they've paid into the CRF for 2019 and 2020.
If I understand, you say you computed a liability of 16 billion and they have paid 27
billion, sir.
Meaning what?
Meaning that it's possible sometimes the OSGF usually hits the account of some of these agencies without waiting for them to produce their audited financial statement.
Have you written the agency to explain this?
They just submitted some documents to us last week or this week. So we are still looking into it before we can go into conclusion.
Will you please reconcile with FRF? Please reconcile with Fiscal Responsibility Commission within 1 week and give us a feedback.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Especially the decline in A, which the chairman explained that they're expecting some reconciliation due to the passage of the PIB and other things. I don't want you to have a projected mindset that Nigeria will lose. I don't want you to come with that projection. I don't want you to have a projected mindset like it has been here, because there will be some reconciliation while the PIB has taken effect. The PIB was meant to improve the economy. I wouldn't want you to start with that kind of mindset that when you reconcile, our revenue will go down. Yes, I don't want you to have to go with that. The oil companies will take that advantage on you. We don't know whether their representatives are here. They will take this. The PIB is highly technical. I would want you, my advice to FRS, please commission a committee to sit on PIB, bring out all the issues.
PIA.
Yeah, the PIB Act.
The PIB.
It's not PIA. It's PIA.
You have to start early. Otherwise, they'll be ahead of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
We are confronted with such companies and Nigerians that would do everything vis-a-vis negative media campaign to making sure that they bring down the personalities or people in the tax authority simply because we have gone after them to recover those tax money. Thank you for the information. It is not his responsibility to charge somebody as you are eating. What is key there is value-added tax, for which is the tax you pay for consuming a processed food. But if the food were even to be sold, if they charge the VAT and stamp duty, then we want you to give us the name of and probably get a receipt. Personally, we'll send people from here to investigate and revert to the house. On the issue of vehicle economy, your suggestion is noted. We also have it as part of what we're doing because we already have a department called International Tax Department, that is handling those cases. Twitter and others are already registering with us, so we're aware, and that is why from a revenue projection of about 5 trillion last year, we're raising the revenue projection to about 10 trillion in the year 2022. So we expect that the impact of those registrations will be fed positively by FIRS, and that is why the figures are going up. On the new rate, for number plate, I would have loved you have asked me this question in private, but if you so want, I will still make little clarification. At the 147th Joint Tax Board meeting we had in Kaduna, submissions were made by chairmen of internal revenue of various states that the people that they give contract to produce this number plates are complaining because of the negative impact of inflation on the cost of production. So that was why we unanimously, 37 of all FIRS and 37 of them, including the chairman of internal revenue of FCT, we agreed to review the rate to accommodate the additional costs and losses to take care of the losses that the internal revenue authorities were incurring for purpose of producing this number plate. You recall that sometimes last year the exchange rate to dollar officially was about 310 naira per dollar, and as what we're talking today is 410. So it is practically impossible for somebody to produce good using the same cost at 310 naira per dollar, and the same you're expecting to produce that same thing for 410 naira and still make, at least even able to recycle the money to produce another, even if you don't make profit. So that was the adjustment we made, and it was a decision of everybody in the Joint Tax Board meeting. Informal sector, I think what we have done on informal sector was to, at a time, try to propose what we call presumptive tax to the National Assembly, but in the course of doing that, we felt a bit challenged and we did not submit the proposal yet on the presumptive tax, simply because we discover that there is an act of National Assembly that has exempted businesses with turnover of 1 naira to 25 million naira. So if you already have that, you can find it difficult to say, okay, come and pay a presumptive tax. Presumptive tax is a tax that will just give you form to say, based on your own estimate, how much have you generated this year? If you say it's 12 million, you say, okay, pay maybe 6% of that 12 million. And you go, because you are not an organized sector. But there is a law which has exempted everybody with a turnover of 1 naira to 25 million. So you find it difficult if you want to implement such a thing. The second thing that we are doing, or which we have already done, is to create a department called Intelligence, Strategic Data Mining and Analysis Department, which the only thing that these young boys and girls do on a daily basis is just to gather intelligence on companies, and particularly those informal sectors, analyze them, and then escalate those gaps that they identify for purpose of tax assessment and tax collection. Number 3, we're thinking of, which will surely come back to National Assembly on that, is to introduce raw taxes. Raw taxes is necessary because all over the world, there is no way you see people that will use road for free. The government is, as it is today, even if you are able to give the entire 10 trillion to government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it will not be able to fix the roads in Nigeria alone, just the roads in Nigeria alone. So what we've decided to do is to propose the introduction of road taxes to the federal government through our Special Tax Operations Department, in such a manner that informal sector player that will own at least probably 50 trucks and will be plying this road for free. At any given point in time, he comes across the toll gate or probably somewhere that we are going to use electronic device to collect this without necessarily erecting toll gate, he pays taxes, because we are aware the owners of these trucks, they don't do anything with the government, so they don't come near government to get the FIRS to get tax clearance certificate. So they will own 15, 20 trucks that will ply the roads that is built with the personal income tax that I pay and you pay, and yet they don't pay taxes. So these are the gaps that we want to identify. identify. And these are the few ways we are thinking of bringing the informal sector to tax net.
Of indebtedness by MTN to the tune of 1,283.6 billion. I wrote you on these documents, on that report. I wanted a review which was sent to you by that office. And this indebtedness was for 2007 and then 2010 to 2017. It's not just indebtedness, it's avoidance of payments intentionally by MTN. You reviewed and you came up with an outstanding of 451,985,426.86 million naira. 451,985,426.86. That your agency confirmed as MTN is owing Nigeria. What have you done about ensuring that they make this payment as soon as possible? And what is the duration of payment, the duration of time of payment that you have given them?
Thank you, distinguished chairman. We've come to defend our MTF. And
MTF is about revenue. And if a company is holding on to our revenue, we need to ask you. So what we need that money, that's the issue.
Thank you very much. The figure of $451 million, billion naira, you have seen represent the taxes we feel the company should ordinarily pay and the taxes that Attorney General has rightly assessed and computed and assessed. And we have confirmed in that letter that except for other items that probably there could be errors, those 451 billion is payable by MTN. And out of those money, out of the figure, some of the figures have actually been paid before. Now we only confirm that this is the actual thing that the company should ordinarily pay. And as I'm talking to you, they have been paying by installment some of the liabilities that are yet to be fully settled by them, which is in the region of about 96 billion. I cannot remember offhand because you have the figures before you. So they are paying, and I think out of the 96 billion or over 90 billion, they've paid over 60 billion already, and we expect that before end of the year, they will pay the balance.
Well, if I understand, the 451.9 billion, all you are saying is that what is left is about 90-something billion to be paid.
Yes. Most of them, it has been paid. They produce receipt. We check it to their bank statement, check it to the Federation account. It was thorough investigation we carried out, and we confirmed some of the payment. But out of the 451 billion, there is a payment outstanding in the, as a January of about 96 billion as a result of our reconciliation, and which over 60 billion already had been paid.
We are talking of this was before your assumption. We are talking of 2007, then 2010 to 2017. That a company in Nigeria that has been declaring profits in trillions will now be holding Nigeria's money to the tune of close to 500 billion. And then you are here telling us that they are going to pay till the end of the year. What is the meaning of that? Why can't they pay?
So for each of the figure you see there, there's a nature to it. It's unfortunate I don't have my. No. I do not have my.
You want me to give it to you? I can
give me
you.
So that I can.
Because here, no, hold on. Here you said 1,283,000,000 1,283,610,357.86, less withholding tax remitted by MTN with complete evidence of payment was 106.84. Withholding tax erroneously assessed by AGF, VAT erroneously assessed by AGF, and withholding tax not traceable to MTN records. Even these three, we don't agree as a committee. We will need to look at those errors, how you arrive at those errors. But the issue here is that net assessment raised plus withholding tax remitted by MTN but without e-tickets, without treasury receipts, is 451. So it's not about 90 billion. If I understand this document. So what is outstanding to be paid by MTN is 451. And that money must be paid.
Thank you very much.
Because they don't give us credit when we make calls. They don't give Nigerians credit. They collect their money immediately.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This was the summary I actually wanted you to let me have before I speak. Total indebtedness of MTN as per the Honorable Attorney General's letter was about 1.2 trillion naira. But in the course of reconciling, we discovered that MTN has actually remitted with complete evidence 106 billion, and also we discover that part of the calculations done by the Honorable Attorney General, about 138 billion, was done in error, because when you check and you discover that you are calculating withholding tax on probably transport and traveling, when somebody travel for training, you pay him extra code, withholding tax is calculated on that. We felt that was not fair enough. So
no, we agree with you. What we are interested in, Chairman.
Let me finish.
Sorry, before you let your officers note all those three items. We want to see line by line what they are, what those expenses are, and how the Attorney General's office had committed the mistake.
Okay. Surely we have our working paper document, electronic and hard copy, that we can always share with you for further review. And the net effect, which is 451, is
outstanding.
Net assessment raise.
Chairman, it is outstanding.
No, it is not outstanding. Net assessment rate plus withholding tax remitted by MTN. So it can't be outstanding. What we have just done is that in worst case scenario, the 451 billion is due. Part of it has been paid, and whatever was outstanding, which is about 90 billion, is being paid. That is the essence of this.
But your analysis here there says net assessment raised.
And because it is what in 1.2 minus these figures.
No, I mean, I'm just referring to the 451. It says net assessment raised.
Plus withholding tax remitted by MTN.
Well, what can the agency do?
That's what I'm saying. Net assessment that was raised that we found to be correct.
Okay.
Plus, we have now equally realized that MTN remitted some of the withholding taxes, but they could not produce evidence.
So they have not paid.
I would, we don't conclude that way, and that's why I wouldn't know that they paid or they've not paid, because it's possible. It's a back-to-it thing. Record keeping is a very big problem. So that's why we're careful here. And unfortunately, I'm not trying to say something on their behalf, but if other communication players have been like MTN, the situation would not have been bad.
It is interesting to us because we invited MTN as a committee before now, when we later realized that there was a report on them. And then they came and told us that they were not owing they were not owing nothing. They were owing no kobo to Nigeria. that they pay their money as a when due. And when this report came, it became an interesting story to us. Yeah. That if an agency, if a company that charges us pay as you go or pay as you use, is holding to Nigerian money, which will have been used for further development. It's, you need not, it's even 2017.
Yeah.
2007, 2010 to 2017.
Yeah.
We are not even talking about 2018, 19 to 20. Yeah. So if they did that, then only God knows what they are doing, how much is outstanding now. So that money has to come back to the coffers of Nigeria. We want to see the receipts. FIRS should forward the receipts to us of the payments. Got it? Thank you. Thank you very much, FIRS. One final statement is just that you have given us the expectations for 2022, 23, 24 financial expectations. If we don't meet it, what it means is that Nigeria will also have to look for another source of funding that gap. So it's a proposal. It's not cast in stone. So we only implore you to put in more efforts. And we commend you for the job we are doing. My colleagues have said it here. We oversight you and we know what is happening. We only hope that it will be better with a wider coverage, with a wider net coverage for taxpayers. Thank you and God bless you.
My name is Lanre Bajabia Miller, the Director General of the National Lottery Regulatory Commission. I have with me members of my team, management team, the Director, Finance and Accounts, Abdusalam Olalere, and the rest of the members of the Finance and Accounts Department. Thank you.
Okay. Let's quickly run through your 2022, 23, 24.
If I may, if you may allow my Director of Finance to please run through this. So from the overview, from the 2022 to 2024, we have our projections.
Your performance 2020, 2021. Quickly.
Okay. For our performance in 2022, 2021, first quarter performance, sir.
No, 2020 performance against appropriation, what was it? Just revenue.
Okay, revenue, sir.
Yes.
In 2020, we generated 4,474,868.
As against which appropriation?
As against 3 billion. What's not stated there was against 3 billion, which was our approved budget last year for 2020.
What is this 19.5?
That's the total. It's total budget for the various years, sir, from 2016 to 2020.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So for 2021, first quarter revenue, we generated 479 million.
No, sorry, just hold on. This 19.5 is the aggregate for 2016 to 2020.
Yes, sir.
And then your performance is also, we add these 5 together, right?
Yes, sir.
So you actually did more. 6, 10, 13. Yeah. Relatively okay.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
so for 2021, the first quarter, revenue for first quarter 2021, we generated 997,543,260 naira 46 kobo.
Okay.
as against, the year is still running, but our budget for the year is about over 6 billion.
Yeah, but your first quarter was against what?
Sir?
What was your expectation, the budget in the first quarter? Do you have it? Your performance is 997.5.
Yes, 997.5.
As against what? Because it's not here.
Yeah, it's not stated, yes. But these are projection for the years, according to what the revenue of the classes of revenue we have.
Okay. How much are you contributing to? How much are you government expecting from you? 2022. How much?
22. 17 billion, sir. 17 billion.
That's what you are going to remit.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Actual remittance.
Yes, sir. That's our projection for actual remittance.
17 billion.
Yes, sir.
And then 23, 18 billion, 18.5.
Okay. Sorry, sir. Sorry. I didn't check. The second page is actually 12 billion. No, sorry.
No, I was moving on. Huh?
Sorry, sir. It's 12 billion. It's 12 billion. Yes. For 2022. It's on the second page, sir. Can you check?
Because I saw 17.
The last figure down. Operating surplus. It's 12 billion. Yes. 12 billion 453 023 290.30.
Yes, that's very tight. Very good.
1,308,549.29 plus 914,459 bearing it 414.40 plus 20 million, then plus 116.
We should be adding it for you.
No, somebody is done it.
Only ask simple questions now. You don't need all these.
The total figures are generated in 2020 is 4,474,868,646.22.
Yes. But there was no remittance. Because you made a loss. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, there was remittances, sir.
Huh?
Yes, we did remittance.
But what is your record showing loss?
We remitted 750 million to the CRF.
You remitted 750.
Yes, sir. On the second page, sir.
Okay, remittance to CRF. Okay.
Yes, sir. 750 million.
So there was no. Okay, it's your operating surplus that is 418.
Yes, sir.
Where are we? Fiscal responsibility.
As at 2019, the National Lottery Regulatory Commission remitted a total sum of $1,204,996,000. Yes, sir. We don't have evidence of their remittance for 2020, sir. The 750 million is talking about. We don't have evidence for that, sir.
We also have zonal offices, 15 other zonal offices that we're also renting across the federation. So that's why we see that differences again in the next couple of years that we're going to have to acquire offices for both the headquarters here in Abuja and also the 15 zonal offices in Nigeria as well. So that's why that's where you see the difference. Yeah. But,
your performance is about 20 million, if I'm correct. Is that correct, Mr. Accountant? 20 million is what you have done in the first quarter of this year, right? No, I want you to confirm. Is that what you have done this first quarter? 20 million?
No, where are you seeing your 20?
That's what I've seen here.
Where do you see that one?
Okay, I think the first page. Let me check. Second page. Performance against the projection. What I've seen here is 20 million against the approved budget of 13 billion. Accountant, what's your performance for first quarter of this year?
So the performance is 997 million.
Sorry?
The performance in first quarter this year, 997 million.
Okay. If that's correct, so I want you to explain to us the strategy that you are going to use to achieve this 12 billion, for next year, or even this year, 13 billion. How are you going to achieve it? Looking at what you have done so far this year, I think the gap is quite huge. So what kind of magic are you going to, perform to move from 900 and something to about 13 billion at the end of the year?
No, the 900 and something is just first quarter. You have second quarter, third quarter, so you cannot, it depends on when the volume of their businesses, which of the quarter they have the volume of their businesses.
When you want to take the 3 quarters together,
Let Oga respond.
Yeah. Thank you very much. If I may add to what the Honorable Chairman has said here, with the support of the National Assembly, our budget for this year has captured a very significant equipment that we need to monitor all our operators online, real time, whether we can see what they're actually making. Because right now we don't have that mechanism, we don't have that system. So we're in the process of purchasing the central monitoring system, which will enable us to see all the transactions, as of when due, and know what the operators are supposed to be paying. And that's where we're going to see a significant increase in our revenue from what we presently we're doing now. So I believe once we have this implemented and getting all the funds necessary to implement this, you see a significant revenue from the lottery market. So that's why we're able to project such an increase in our revenue for this year, end of this year and next year. Yes, I can assure you, sir. You will see. Yeah.
Chairman.
Thank you, Chair. Since we're talking prudency in the management of our scarce resources, I was thinking that we could lean on some of these recovered assets to, if we can relate with the appropriate authority, it will save us some good cost to, if some of those assets will be given to your agency. I think given where we are, let's look at that window.
We did try to look at that, but it seems like we're having some bottlenecks in getting that. So maybe Honorable, you might be able to assist us, because we've tried to talk to AMCON, for season, and it seems like we're not able to. We've been trying that for the last 2 years, so I don't know whether this committee might be able to assist us.
You can, with the leave of the house.
So many of the properties that are being auctioned can also be auctioned to you, far, far cheaper. You're not even saying you don't want to, you want to buy, but at least it will be far cheaper and strategically located. There are so many properties that EFCC, ICPC, all of them have recovered one way or the other. So if you write to the presidency through your ministry, that can be achieved. Okay, thank you. You may take your leave. Lottery Commission.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
We want trust fund, lottery trust fund, to report here tomorrow.
Please, I want to express our profound appreciation for the invitation for us to appear here before you for interactive session on our operations and the medium-term estimates for the next 3 years. Okay, my name is Emeka Ezugu. I'm the General Manager of Finance, standing in here for the Executive Director of Finance and Administration.
Standing in for who?
Oh, sir? Oh, for the Managing Director, please.
Huh?
Sir.
What, did you say your name is what?
Emeka Ezugu.
What's your position?
General Manager of Finance, standing in for the Acting Managing Director of Nigerian Post Authority.
I don't think you are standing for Director of Finance.
So what happened to the acting managing director? Has she been suspended too?
It has
Has
not
he
been
been
suspended, but it has not been around since Thursday last week. So
Is indisposed?
it's not only just that I think he has some ailment that prevented him from
A medical leave.
medical issues.
That's what we want you to say now. It's a medical leave. Well, we'll take you, but I hope you are ready to face the rigor.
Okay. All right.
Take us through your expenditures, 2018, 19, 20.
Okay. Our expenditure
Your capital, what page?
is page 1 of our submission to the Budget Office of the Federation. In 2018, we had performance of 284.3 billion revenue.
Oga, follow. Don't rush us.
All right.
Please.
Capital expenditure.
Expenditure.
Okay.
Forget about personnel. We are not interested in personnel cost.
Okay. Total expenditure for 2018 is 212.5 billion. Then 2019. Okay.
Let's go and wait.
Okay. The permanent staff, I think short.
Is it an allowance?
And it comprises of the salaries and allowances.
Chairman, point of
paid.
order. This document is not in proper shape. We do not have the actual budget, so you can't do it. It's just performance, no budget.
Let's take item by item, line by item. Line by line.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
If you're asking for...
Okay. No, wait. We receive vessels that freight in goods in and out of Nigeria, and those vessels pass through channels. So MTN is engaged in channel management and dredging.
Channels.
Channels, yeah.
We are talking of corporate responsibilities.
Corporate social responsibility.
Yes, what has channels maintenance got to do with that?
I told you, okay. Yes, we do corporate social responsibility, especially to communities around the port.
Now give us an example of it. I can see billions. Every year, billion, 4.7, 4.5, every year. What is the reason? What do you do? Which communities?
Our community,
what are the projects?
Well, we will give you the details, but the details are not here.
Give me an example. Say it.
Just an example.
Example.
Just so. At least it will give an idea.
Okay. We have given light to some communities in Port Harcourt, Calabar, even in Lagos, where the well,
plenty negotiations here. You have plenty negotiations here.
We also built hospitals. We built. Well, I don't have the details here, but I can assure you that what I'm telling you, if you need it, we come back with the information, please.
Okay, Mr. Reka, if you say you are giving light, MPA is giving light to communities around the ports, and it's year out, you give the lights, and yet you buy generators, what 300, you see your generator cost? Yeah. Your generator costs over 300 2019, 434 million. 2020, 158 million.
Yes, sir. 158 million. So is it from your generator that you are powering communities? It's not from,
or you have your own power station?
the generators you have there is that we don't have independent power generation.
So what light do you then give? Okay.
The generators we buy
what is your
are the ones we want.
What's your budget for social responsibility for 2022? Read it out.
Okay. Okay, go to page. Okay. 3.7.
3.7.
Go to page, we should be at page 2. The last item there, you see 2022, we have 76 point. Sorry, corporate social responsibility. The last one there is 3.78 billion.
3.78 billion.
Yes, sir.
And yet, the only thing you can identify is that you give light. So we will delete. We will delete that. We will take that to revenue.
Chairman, sir,
no. You can't put. If you cannot defend something, you will not take it.
Chairman, it's not even, they can't defend it.
That's what I'm saying.
The times that we are, nobody should. This is the function of.
We are taking that to revenue. Take that revenue. Are you noting it?
Yes, sir. Take
it back to revenue.
Chairman and members, please,
let's move to the next item, Oga.
Apart from providing lies,
we take that to revenue. Carry it?
Carry.
Move.
Okay.
On to you.
Don't do the CSR again. Government will do its work.
Let me come, please. Chairman and members, please.
Wait now, Oga. The minimum wait
we
now.
have 6 ports.
Okay.
We have Lagos Port, we have Tinkan, we have Calabar, we have Rivers Port, we have Onea, and all of them have bars, and those bars are, concessioned to some, terminal operators, and we have responsibility as the landlord of the port to continue to maintain all those infrastructure.
Why did you concession them then?
That was 2006.
Wait now, wait. So you concession to do what? To operate it?
Exactly. Because
so what's the responsibility of the concessionaire? What is it?
Yeah, their own responsibility is to receive
the
goods. And, in terms of bringing the goods down from the vessel and loading into the vessel, it was part of the work MPA was doing before the concession. But after the concession, MPA's responsibility was moved to, providing certain infrastructure. Yes, and monitoring the concessionaires that bidded and we are, successful in the abuse.
So all these four WAFs, you call them, every year. In 2016, you spent about 6 billion. 2017, 11 billion. 2018, 6 billion. 2019, you spent 14.4 billion. Okay. And 2020, 13.6 billion. 2021, you are projected to spend 20.6 billion. Are we constructing new ones? How much does it cost to construct new ones?
Some of them are being reconstructed. Like in Rivers Port, one of the bars collapsed, and it is the responsibility of the authority to construct it. And for some of us, if you know that Tinkan Land was built in 1977, and as of today,
and they didn't spend this much in that time.
Well,
Nigerian factor has crept in.
Not necessarily Nigerian factor, but if you have 6 ports and you know the length overall of each of the terminals, you know your responsibility. We also know the cost of cement today and what it costs for you to reconstruct a bath.
Yes.
It's not, I think it requires huge sums of money. And it's always advertised, and
How many have you reconstructed in the last 5 years?
You mean new?
Yeah, the WAPs. How many have you reconstructed?
Yeah, we have reconstructed that of Port Harcourt for PTOF, that Port and Terminal Operators Limited. We considered, yes, and then in Warri Port 2, we reconstructed. Also in FTC, we are also doing remedial work in terms of where the bus have issues. We go, to engage.
Do you build new offices every year?
New
offices.
What we do is maybe remodeling and reconstruction, because some of them are very, very old, and you need to change it.
Also, when you remodel your office, or when you do you throw away all the furniture, and you spend over 300 million, 50-something million, 230 million, 693 million every year on furniture.
Not every year.
You see or not? It's on record.
You have it here now.
It's look at it. Read page 2. Go to page 2 at 14.
What we are saying is
read it for us, because you are telling us that we are lying. Read it, let Nigerians hear you. Page 2 at 14.
Office furniture.
Page 2016, how much did you spend?
Actually, is
2016, how much?
2016 is 51 million.
2017?
2017 is 230.
230 what?
30 million.
2018?
693.
693 what?
Million.
Finish it now.
Okay.
2019?
2019 is 501 million.
2020?
2020. Around 381 million.
This wood has been here now for how many years? What is happening? What type of furniture are you people buying?
It is, it's not for all the locations at the same time. They are done one after the other. We started with.
So, but you are not doing this year?
Oh.
No, 2022.
We are not doing it 20. We have nothing for 2020 in terms of the performance there. Yes. But after the useful life of furniture that we use is just 4 years, and so some of them may not even last that long, and they need the replacement.
Sure.
Yeah, may you finish my own. It's when much money. Oga, this your explanation on this office furniture. Yes, we know in the service rules, when you use office furniture for 4 years, you can board it, you can change it. We go to we know your offices. We know your offices. I don't see you changing furniture every 4 years. Look at the amount of money you're committing to do this. Look at your medical services, even take care of your officers. Look at the fire service, where you can protect your environment. Look at what you are putting money on furniture. Pieces of wood.
Well, if you consider the number of officers and number of offices we have at each port.
How many ports do you have?
We have 6 ports.
What is your personal nominal role? How many are you?
Nominal role is 3,900.
How many of them are on field?
You say you have 3,900. FIRS have 11,000 staff, and they don't spend this money. Okay. And most of your activities are prioritized.
Yeah.
You can't lock them.
Chairman, you need to have the copy of the audited account. Then you will see these things. When you put these things together with the audited account, then you see whether they are telling the truth.
Oh, they will tell you. I'll tell you the sound.
Okay.
How long does it take to dredge and then re-dredge again? I mean, what do you think? How often do we dredge? And what is the reason for this?
Yes, there's we have consultants that study the siltation regularly. So the dredging is done as the siltation increases in terms of minimizing the draft of the channel. It is like sweeping a road. If you have much rain, in 3 days it can bring sedimentation that will cover all the channels, and you need to remove them. Actually, we have channel management companies that handle the one in Lagos area, and then the one in the east, that is the East Pilotage District. So their work is to handle the maintenance dredging, that is the sweeping, the clearing of the channel, to make sure that there are no sedimentation or even wrecks coming to block the channel itself. From time to time, we also do capital dredging, because today, you know that the type of vessels that come to the ports are no longer the type you had in the past 10 years. So you need either to widen the width of the channel, or you need to deepen it to make it possible for those vessels to, come to our ports. If you have been reading the news, you know that there are certain vessels not coming to Nigeria simply because we don't have deep sea ports. But today, the government has made it possible that by the end of the second quarter of next year, we will have the first Nigerian deep sea port, and then those mega vessels will start coming to our ports.
So MTN is taking advantage of lack of deep sea port to spend, how much, let me see, we're spending 68 billion, 69 billion, I'm talking of year, 68 billion, 69 billion, 69 billion 2019, 53 billion 2019, 69 in 2018, 53 in 2019, 45 in 2020. You propose to spend 73 billion in 2021, you have spent 37.5 billion.
Chairman, sir.
Those things that are carrying those, is it segmentations you call it?
Yes,
there
sir.
must be human touch to it.
I think there are independent assessors that actually determine what is being done in each area. For example, if you know the
let me ask you a question. There was a particular issue where the former MD was asking for international assessors to come and assess whether a dredging was actually done, something like that. I read in the papers.
Yeah.
There was a contract on dredging, and there was this argument that the dredging was not done somewhere, right?
What is happening is
and the woman said no, she was not. She's sure that the dredging was not done.
Okay.
And that somebody, an international something. I read in the papers that you come and assess. Yes, sir. You can use the mic. About your own mic.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Okay.
And honorable members, the Calabar Channel Management Company was a contentious issue of which Nigerian Ports Authority did not believe in. And it led to a lot of issues and fracas in the authority before it was eventually stopped. And the battle for payment is what led to the invitation of an international assessor, because those concerned at the port did not agree that it was done. It was a mess, a big one.
Well, and all the dredging that has been done too, at least. Now, I'm concerned about 2022 dredging cost. 101 billion. Why the sudden increase from 30-something, 70-something, 50-something to 101 billion? We are going to maintain the same level of, are you following? We are going to maintain the same level you have had before.
Yeah, Chairman, okay.
We are going to drop this, your 101, to 45 billion.
Okay, Chairman, let me explain certain
Wait,
issues.
we are looking for money, John.
Dredging.
We are going to drop that money. If you now need special, you can ask, you can seek. But over the years, you've spent an average of 50-something billion. Over the years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over 6 years period. Okay? Yeah. Now you want, in 2022, you want to spend double the amount you have spent over the year. It's not realistic.
We can explain to you, sir.
Everybody can explain how you spend money. There's always room for spending. So we reduce the 101, 101,355,783,285 in 2022 and 2023.
Okay,
so at least not more than 60 billion.
I would like to
for dredging. Carried?
Carried.
Thank you. So move the money to revenue, MPA. You take the remaining money that we have saved on that to revenue. So let's go to your revenue, sir. Performance.
Okay. Revenue 2016.
What page?
Number 4.
Are we there? Yeah. 2016, we had 203 billion performance. And moving to 2017, we had 284 billion. Then 2018, we also had 284.3 billion. 2019, 280.1 billion. 2020, we had 303.5 billion. Then 2021, the performance that we just have, we projected 301 billion, and as at the end of June 2021, we had 163.5 billion. That's about 54% by June. So with that performance, we think that by the end of the year, we'll go straight to what we had projected. Thanks, sir. It may be admin, because under admin, we have two.
Under what?
Admin. Here, no,
admin.
Under admin, yes.
Admin.
Admin, yeah. That is your page, yeah. Okay. 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 Admin revenue is at page 3 of 29.
Yeah,
you can see fines, you can see leases, you can see estate rent. Apart from that, those leases and estate rent, the rest of them are ones you cannot easily project, because when you have fines and penalties and registration of companies, those ones are not steady and you cannot be sure of them.
What's fire coverage? Who is paying fire coverage? Use the mic, don't off the mic. Press the mic.
When some vessels that have inflammable products or products that are susceptible to, danger, then yes, we have to stand by with firefighting equipment.
Okay, so you charge those vessels?
We charge for that.
Okay. Honorable colleagues, questions? Yes, Deputy.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm just looking at their performance so in the subsequent year, that's 2021. They were given a projection of 301 billion. An agency that achieved 303 being given a projection of 301. We're not challenging them enough. And if you look at the trend from 2016 to 2020, alas, there was a movement of more than 100 billion. So I feel we should review the projections for 2022, 2023, and 2024. They are not being challenged to bring out their best. They made 303 billion in 2020, but they were given a projection of 301 billion. So they had already made, they did a performance that superseded their projection for 2021.
No.
Yeah, this was 2020 performance, and this was projection.
For 2021, they've just done 163.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But in 2020, they made 303 billion. So why would they give them a projection that is less than what they achieved in the previous year? Yeah, you're not challenging them, and that's why I can see that they're so much comfortable in their comfort zones. You know, I am coming from a background where if you're given a target of 1 billion, you meet the 1 billion, they jack it up to 2 billion. And that's why you see everybody on their toes trying to measure up. So I think we should challenge them, sir.
Chairman, sir, in 2021, the budget was reduced when we went for bilateral discussion with the budget office. I think it was in some places that we are, checked out. So we made a projection that was far above 303, but for some reasons it was just taken down. It's not that we didn't do the right thing.
No, it's not you, it's the budget office now. They're not challenging you. Why would they bring down your budget when you have already shown that you can do, you've done 303? So why would they bring you lower to 303? You go back to your comfort zone, you will not feature link.
Yes, but if you look at 2022, 2023, and 2024, we have factored in certain things that we felt should be able to, improve our revenue. I just did explain that we are expecting that by the end of the second half of next year, Lekki Deep Sea Port will come on stream. And that will increase both the number of vessels and even the type of vessels that will be, visiting our ports. Also, we have embarked on review of some of the agreements that when they were executed in 2006, many of them were skewed against the government of Nigeria. But now we have reached understanding with almost all of them in terms of review to remove all those areas that, was like revenue leaking out, out of the system. So we also believe that that one will now impact our revenue in 2022, 2023, and 2024.
So now, what I'm saying, Chairman,
yes,
if you look at the trend, the movement from 2016 to 2020, 4 years trend analysis, you talked about the Lekki. If you put all these things together, given an established trend, 2020, I'm seeing that these figures will not challenge you. They'll just make you to go and sit down in your comfort zone without really working hard to get us the revenue that we dearly need at this material.
Okay, actually,
hold on. I understand the angle my deputy is coming from. The issue here is what is realistic. Budget figure will not just give figures that are not realistic, and then you make us to go and have hope that if you make more money, the government will get the money back. So what they're giving you in 2022 is about 338 billion, quite different from that trend you saw. So I think that if you look at 2022, 2023, and 2024, it's in a progressive line. So I think we should allow that to be. After all, you operate TSA, Abi? So if you operate TSA and you make more money, then government will take it. Yes, Your Honor, with them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Please, Mr. Chairman, I still want to find out the reason they gave them at the budget office when the figure was reduced from what they proposed earlier. It is important for us to know why they reduced it, please.
Okay, I think when we went for the bilateral discussion, if you see our revenue profile under others, the major revenue that and our own share there is 3%, and they intended to reduce it by down to 2.5%. That was just the reason. That was just the major reason.
Mr. Chairman, can I have a question? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make this, maybe for clarification's sake. You do mention in your document here that there are some dividends from the joint venture, and you make a projection for it as a revenue. So can you please give us what are the ideas of this joint venture that you are expecting this source from? Then also you mentioned other receivable shares of JV profit. Then also in number 4, you said, okay, total income from other source. What are these other sources that is their projection is going to about 27 billion? Can you please give us details about all this?
No. It's the summation of this.
The summation, that's what I'm saying.
Under that heading, we just have 3 revenue lines. Those revenue lines, the first one there you can see is rent from properties overseas. We have some properties in London, and the occupiers do pay rent to the authority. Is it annually? Yeah?
So why don't you have it in 2022 to 2024? Why is there no rent? Or have you sold it?
Yeah, it is there.
And where is the rent from 2021, even from before, 2016 no rent, 2017 no rent,
It's all there.
2018 no rent?
If you see others, 2020 is 27 billion.
Huh?
If you see others.
No. 2020, 2016, where is the rent?
2016.
Number 1, income from other sources.
Okay. 2016, okay, we had 35 billion in 2016, and that was the performance. Then 2017 we had 38.7.
Mr. Emeka, please respond to item 1. Where is the rent? Why are you taking us to total figure that does not include rent? Item 1. Can't you see? Is it not your document?
It is. Page what? Page 1.
Page 4.
Page 4.
Item 1.
Okay. What happened was that it was the way it was being classified. If you look at administrative expenses, we had rent there, but in 2019 we had
2016
we reviewed our chart of accounts. So we say that one should come out separately because it's coming from overseas. So that time it was being lumped with rent from properties we have in Nigeria. And that was just the reason.
Okay, so in 2019, when you decided that it should be separate, you had 43.9 million. And in 2020, you have 53.3 million.
That's it.
And in 2021, 0.
2021? Okay. 2021, I think is the performance figure that
Rent, rent, we are talking of rent. Not performance figure. Rent. Your tenant must have paid, we pay rent, and they must have even paid. Okay, so we give you the rent figure by ourselves, go?
No,
we give you the rent figure.
I will check.
53.3 million. We expect them to pay the same rate that they pay at 2020.
They may have gone back. They may have gone back.
We give you the same figure, sir. 53.335. 412. Thank you. In 2021. And 2022, same. When are you reviewing? We give you, is London now, 10% increase. Because you didn't include rent there at all. Have you sold the property? Is the property there?
I think what must have been done there is that they may have added it to the rent under administration.
Okay, why are you pushing us forward and backward like this?
That may be
before 2016, you said it was under admin. Now you said you did it, you separated it in 2019. Now you say 2021 going forward. They must have taken it back again to admin. That's a way of diverting our money.
I think that we need to investigate why it was so.
No, we are helping you to say that we are adding it up.
They pay annually.
We just 53,335 across for 2021 to 2024.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Please.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
It's an omission that the budget office did not see, but we have seen it.